Hello everybody, welcome back to the Yotso Tech Tracks YouTube channel. You're joining me on another little discussion regarding something about this 2016 Ram 1500. From previous videos, if you may or may not know, this has the 5.7 liter Hemi V8. It's a very popular engine here in North America, Canada. It's got a very good track record for reliability, fuel economy, performance, emissions, and it's a modern V8 design that's pretty good. But one thing I would like to address, because this is my personal vehicle, is a little issue that these engines have, and that is regarding the bolts that hold on the exhaust manifolds. Now, one of the issues with this, it's a common problem with some manufacturers. It is basically the exhaust manifold bolts that hold on the exhaust manifold do tend to break after a while. And there are several reasons for this problem. One of them is that the block of the engine is cast iron. The cylinder heads are an aluminum alloy. However, the exhaust manifolds are also made from cast iron. And heat cycling over the years of starting and stopping the vehicle, getting up to operating temperature and cooling down, these heat cycles tend to put a lot of stress on these bolts. Now, one of the reasons this engine particularly has the problem with those bolts is because from the factory they are a small diameter in size. I believe the specs on them, if I remember right from my research, is they are an M8, which is a metric 8mm diameter, 1.25 times 45, which is 1.25 millimeters between the threads and 45 millimeters for the actual length of the bolt. So once again, as far as I know, they are M8, 1.25 times 45, and they are a class 10.9 rating. I've done some research on this problem, and pretty much every Hemi engine is going to encounter problems with this exhaust manifold bolts breaking, depending on how often you use it. Once I mentioned it earlier, it is always based on the heat cycling. When things get hot, they expand, and when they cool, they contract. So over time, and many heat cycling of this part will cause them to snap eventually. I've done some research regarding this problem, and my solution, what I'm going to go with in the near future, perhaps in a couple of weeks or a couple of months when the weather gets good, I'm going to be upgrading these bolts. Basically, you can attack this problem in twofold. One of them is you can go with like a tubular shorty exhaust manifold, exhaust header, or they're called, and that'll get rid of that problems because they are made of a different material, and because the thicknesses of the flanges are different, they would come with completely different set of nuts and bolts or studs, however the manufacturer gives those, and because they have a dissimilar heat property compared to cast iron, that's one way to address that problem. However, I would like to keep my exhaust manifolds. Right now I don't see any need to upgrade them. They flow good enough, and they actually keep the noise quiet under the hood. So I've had exhaust manifolds on previous vehicles where I upgraded them to headers, and on those vehicles I had no problem upgrading them, but for this vehicle I don't see the need anytime soon. Maybe down the road if I get a good deal on them, but right now I'm completely happy with the exhaust manifolds on them. So one thing I've looked into is the other fold of attacking this problem is going with a higher strength retainer. So because they are a class 10.9 from the factory, the next step up is going to be a class 12.9, and 12.9 compared to 10.9 is going to be pretty much 120% of a tensile strength compared to 10.9. So they are stronger fasteners, and what I can get my hands on as far as what's available to the general public and cost wise, I'm going to be going with a set of basically socket head cap screws. These are going to be a direct replacement for these factory exhaust manifold bolts. They are basically a machine screw with the same specification, except for they're going to have a little bit higher tensile strength. Now, because you cannot really do much else with this problem other than swapping out the exhaust manifold. To some people that's an option. For me, like I said, it's not really a priority or not really a concern. I'm going to be going with a set of these socket head cap screws with the same specification, but the class 12.9 rating. Once once again, this is going to have roughly 120% tensile strength compared to the factory retainers, and the exact same specifications. If you guys are looking for these, it's going to be once again M8 1.25 times 45. I'm going to double check this size. In the good weather, I'm going to go underneath the wheel well, remove one of these bolts, and double check the size. Just I suggest you guys do the same thing. Don't take my word for it, but from research, that is what I found about the specifications. So hopefully this is going to address the problem in the long run. How long this problem will come up in the near future, who knows, but this should address some of the problems about those exhaust manifolds bolts breaking. One more thing regarding a previous vehicle I had. You guys may or may not know from previous videos, if you guys watching these videos, I came from a 2011 Jeep Wrangler JK before this vehicle, and that had a similar engine design as this. It is a V6, but it had the aluminum head and cast iron exhaust manifolds. Now, for a different reason, I upgraded the exhaust on that vehicle basically from the header back, so they did end up getting installed a set of JBA exhaust headers. They are basically shorty headers, and when I took off the exhaust manifolds on that vehicle, I actually had encountered 2 of those bolts broken off. I didn't know this. It wasn't giving any more of an issue regarding noise. Usually when the bolts break, the gasket might get blown out. However, I didn't get that far ahead, so I attacked the problem on time. Just a complete coincidence. When I took off the exhaust manifolds, 2 of the bolts basically were broken off, but I was really lucky because on both sides, on both banks of the engine, I had this problem with the very rear bolt. So my luck was that the bolts did break in a way where I could get a pair of vice grips and loosen them and remove them from the head without having to go to other more drastic issues. Sometimes these bolts tend to break off clean, straight, flat, where the cylinder head stops, and then you're into a world of trouble with trying to extract those broken studs basically, because they are in a location where it is not easy to get to, and trying to get those broken exhaust manifold bolts out is sometimes a nightmare. More drastic problems are when you absolutely can't reach them because of access and there's no room under the hood. You might have to pull the cylinder head. So that's one of the reasons I want to get rid of this problem as soon as possible. Once again, this is roughly a 4-year-old vehicle now, and it has about 20,000 kilometers, so I doubt any problems are going to happen removing these factory bolts right now, because they haven't been heat cycled that much. But again, I want to attack this problem before it gets to be an issue like I had with my Jeep Wrangler JK. So it should be a very easy install. As far as I know, on one cylinder bank there are 8 bolts holding it on, and the other bank is going to have 9. So I'm going to get a set of maybe 20 socket head cap screws. Usually they come in a set of 10 or 20, and I guess I'll have a spare or 2. So as soon as I get that project going, I'm going to post a video about it. It'll be hopefully a very easy install. I looked under the wheel well, and there seems to be acres of room, so even the inner splash guard, I doubt I will have to remove it. It should have plenty of room to get rid of those problem bolts and upgrade them with higher quality, higher specification bolts. So hope this helps you guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and as soon as I get this problem over with, I will post a video regarding the install. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you like it, that always helps, and more content to this channel is coming every day. So thank you very much for listening and watching, and take care for now. Goodbye.